Something huge just happened, and if you own ammo or firearms, you need to hear this. A shocking new court ruling has just rewritten what every gun and ammo owner thought they knew about their rights, and the consequences could be massive. What you're about to hear will not only affect how you buy, store, and carry ammunition, but could even change the way the Second Amendment is interpreted moving forward. This isn't fear-mongering, this is reality. And today, we're breaking down the 10 brand new rules every ammo owner must know after this explosive decision. From new federal restrictions to bizarre state-level loopholes that nobody saw coming. This ruling has already set off a chain reaction across the country. Gun shops are confused, ammo suppliers are panicking, and millions of legal gun owners are asking the same question. What's next? Because if this decision stands, what's stopping the courts from expanding it further? From ammo to magazines, and from magazines to the firearms themselves? That's the terrifying part that most people aren't even talking about. But we will. In this video, we'll uncover the new obligations, hidden clauses, and enforcement traps buried within this court's ruling, including one that could make simply owning too much ammo a potential violation. You'll also hear how lawmakers are quietly preparing new safety adjustments that could turn everyday gun owners into criminals overnight. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a like, not just because it helps the channel, but because YouTube's algorithm often buries critical, freedom-related content like this. When you subscribe and like this video, you're telling the platform that the truth still matters. It helps us keep reaching more responsible citizens like you who want to stay informed and prepared. And I want to hear from you. Comment down below and tell me, which of these new rules shocks you the most? Your opinion might be featured in a future episode. So grab your seat, stay tuned, and don't skip a second, because the final revelation in this list will absolutely change how you see the Second Amendment forever. Today I bring you a bombshell. A sudden court ruling has just dropped that is already rewriting the ground rules for ammunition owners across the country. And if you don't know these changes right now, you could be walking into legal trouble without even realizing it. Over the course of this video, I will walk you through 7 critical, brand new rules that every ammo owner must internalize immediately. These aren't hypotheticals. Many are already effective or in motion, and they could affect your ability to buy, store, travel with, or even possess ammo in ways you never imagined. Watch through to the very end, because Rule 7 will hit you like a gut punch. It changes the stakes in a way that could turn everyday lawful owners into inadvertent violators. 1. Rule 1. Mandatory background checks on ammunition purchases, expanded obligations. One of the most dramatic consequences of recent litigation is the affirmation of background check requirements for ammo sales in some states. For example, a federal appeals court has just upheld New York's law requiring a point-of-sale background check on every ammunition sale. The court held that the conditions imposed are modest and do not meaningfully constrain the constitutional right to keep and bear arms. In practical terms, that means that in New York, and potentially states that adopt similar laws, every single ammo transaction may require identity verification, record keeping, and waiting periods or delays on approval. That expansion is no longer speculative. But don't think this is only about New York. In California, a different appeals court recently struck down the state's ammunition background check law, ruling it unconstitutional under the same Supreme Court test, Bruin, because it meaningfully constrains ownership. That split creates a growing circuit conflict over whether such checks are lawful. As a result, Rule 1 demands that you always check whether your state or federal circuits now require these checks. In some places, your next ammo purchase might require you to submit paperwork you never anticipated. 2. Rule 2. Conservative courts may expand enforcement scope. Watch for aggressive application. With the judiciary shifting in many areas toward conservative approaches, the latest rulings suggest that courts may increasingly permit aggressive enforcement of ammunition restrictions. In New York's case, the appellate panel declined to examine the historical tradition standard, Bruin's second step, because they found the plaintiffs failed step 1. They did not show a meaningful constraint. Essentially, The courts are giving states leeway to impose conditions so long as they appear modest on their face. That sets a dangerous precedent. In many jurisdictions, regulators and prosecutors may push for interpretation of modest that suits their enforcement goals. In addition, the U.S. Supreme Court recently upheld federal ghost gun regulations, imposing serial number and background check requirements on parts kits used to build firearms. That decision, Bondi v. Vanderstock, affirms that the federal government can treat weapon component kits more like regulated firearms. If courts are willing to stretch parts regulation, local and state authorities may push similarly expansive readings of ammunition rules. In short, Rule 2 warns that what looks benign on paper might be used as a sweeping enforcement tool at your expense. 3. Rule 3. Record keeping, inventory reporting, and audit exposure are climbing. Another trend we see in the wake of this ruling is the increased push for detailed record keeping by sellers, distributors, and sometimes even individual owners. Some of the new court decisions imply that if you are moving or transferring ammo in bulk, you may soon be required to maintain logs, invoice trails, and proof of lawful possession. In states that adopt New York's model, sellers must maintain databases linking buyer identity to ammo purchases. Over time, that could evolve into mandatory audits of how much ammunition you own, when you acquired it, or how you stored or moved it. You must prepare for the possibility that law enforcement could demand inventory disclosures, especially in investigations involving weapons. What once was considered a private matter could become public record. If you fail to comply or maintain clean records, technical violations could be leveraged as evidence of wrongdoing. That is Rule 3. Assume record keeping is now fair game for scrutiny. 4. Rule 4. Restrictions on interstate transport and travel with ammo. One of the most overlooked risks is travel with ammunition across state lines. After this ruling, states with aggressive new ammo rules may attempt to enforce restrictions on bringing ammo into their jurisdiction. Even if your home state allows unlimited ammunition, crossing into a state with stricter laws could expose you to prosecution or seizure of your ammo. This is especially dangerous because the court rulings are murky about extraterritorial reach. For example, if a state now demands background checks for ammo purchases, could they apply a similar standard to ammo you bring in from out of state? Or claim possession is unlawful unless validated locally? That's exactly the kind of expansion enforcement agencies may try. Rule 4. Always check not only your state laws, but the laws of any state into which you carry or transport ammunition. Legal in one place might be illegal just a few miles over the border. 5. Rule 5. Quantity limits, excess ammo clauses, and mandatory surrender thresholds. Expect to see laws that limit how much ammunition an individual may legally possess. Today, such limits are rare, but after this ruling, states may be emboldened to enact excess ammo clauses that oblige you to surrender surplus quantity beyond a threshold. Because courts have validated modest restrictions, legislatures may interpret that precedent as permission to control bulk storage. Even more insidious, some laws may require reporting or surrendering ammo above a certain volume. For example, more than 5,000 rounds or more than a one-year stockpile. That threshold could be sold to the public as a reasonable limit or safety measure, making owners with robust stockpiles potential targets. Rule 5. Know your state's new maximum thresholds if they arise, and avoid accumulating large stockpiles unless you are confident they remain legal. 6. Rule 6. Storage, lockbox, and secure location mandates are likely to multiply. Another enforcement vector we foresee is compulsion of specific storage standards. Because the new court rulings allow states to impose modest conditions, states may begin mandating that ammunition be stored in locked containers, vaults, or safes meeting precise specifications. Violating such storage rules could become a misdemeanor or felony, even if the ammunition is legally owned. Some states already have safe storage laws for firearms. This ruling could encourage parallel ammunition rules. Similarly, insurance-like requirements may be introduced. If you store more than a certain amount of ammo, you may have to prove you have insurance or structural safeguards, e.g. fire-resistant vaults. Rule 6. Prepare for states requiring not just possession, but how you store ammo under penalty of law. 7. Rule 7. Retroactive compliance demands and grandfathered ammunition under threat. Finally, the most shocking and controversial consequence: retroactive compliance. That is, you may be required to bring your existing ammunition, already owned, into conformity with new rules through registration, surrender, or re-verification. Under older law regimes, new regulations rarely applied retroactively. But with this ruling's precedent, states could argue that every round you own must now be validated under new laws. Non-compliance could be prosecuted as pre-existing violations. Also, what about grandfathered ammo? Ammunition you purchased lawfully under prior rules. That status may not protect you forever. A state or prosecutor could challenge grandfather protection, arguing that it is inconsistent with the public interest or safety. Because courts are leaning tolerantly toward new regulation, they might allow retroactive compliance schemes. That is the shocking twist. Your existing ammo stash might suddenly become illegal unless revalidated. That is Rule 7, and it may be the most dangerous rule of all. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave your comment about what shocked you most about this decision, and I'll see you in the next video.